The Global Medical Brigades is a student-led nonprofit organizations that partner with partnered communities in rural areas, and they work alongside local staffs and doctors to provide access to healthcare to patients who have really no access or never seen a doctor before. I wanted to get involved because, you hear stories from your parents saying where they came from and how it is back in their hometowns and their countries. And so it kind of almost makes you a little upset that people are actually going through this. And so I wanted to be that change.
Welcome to MDF Instruments Crafting Wellness Podcast. I'm really excited today to introduce you to Paula. She is doing some incredible things around the world with Global Medical Brigades and also just becoming a doctor and on her way to do that.
So my name is Paola Pinto. I'm from Covina, California, and I'm currently a graduate student at Keck Graduate Institution. I'm receiving my master's in applied life sciences next year, and I'm going to apply for the cycle next year to go into med school.
Yeah, I know that's a lot of work. Talk a little bit about why you chose healthcare. There always seems to be an origin story of why people get into medicine.
So it's actually a personal story. I've dealt with my own personal health issues. And so growing up in a hospital setting, you see all these different types of doctors, nurses, PAs, nurse practitioners there. And so you kind of wonder what they're doing, what stethoscopes they're using, and you're kind of wondering, okay, like I know I'm sick, I'm in a very vulnerable stage. And so they're making you feel as comfortable as possible. There's nothing embarrassing to them. They've seen it before. They're just trying to make you feel a lot better. And another personal experience I had faced when I was 10 years old is I lost my best friend to cancer. And so that's really when I grasped like what cancer really was and what death really was and what it was to be sick and like a consequences of that. And so I think just those really motivated me into going into the healthcare field.
Yeah, I understand cancer is a really nasty thing. And I'm really sorry that you lost your friend at 10. I can imagine that was really difficult and hard to understand at such a young age, death, and the fact that some people get better and then some people don't.
Yeah, it was just, I didn't really know what cancer was. I just kind of always heard it, people throwing it around you, but never really grasped what it was until, my friend passed away. And, that was really what motivated me to go into more of the healthcare scene. And I had always been comfortable in the hospital, it was my second home being there all the time, growing up at Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, being a patient there, it just really like driven me to become who I am and what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I find that is a pretty common theme with a lot of people I talk to in healthcare. They've either are getting into healthcare because they themselves were sick and the treatment that they got made them want to give that back to someone, want to make someone feel like everything's going to be okay, be there for them, help them through their most difficult days, or they lose someone, or they have an experience that's not so great that they say, hey, I want to create some change. I want to do this differently. I want to do this better. I'm glad that healthcare found you, even though it sounds like it wasn't the easiest path to land on you. I'm glad that you're in it now because you are doing some incredible things, which we're going to get into talking about. But can you talk us through a little bit about your school journey? I imagine you went to college and what you studied, and then where you are at now, what that process kind of looks like for everybody listening who might want to take a similar path as you.
So I grew up in like lower social economics household. And so I really didn't know how I was going to go to college. I just knew I really wanted to, and I always had the support from my family. And so I did end up going to Cal Poly Pomona. Obstacles I was facing is how to even apply. Didn't know like the application process or what I needed to like turn in or like SAT scores. I didn't know anything about that. So I finally went into Cal Poly and did all my prerequisites. And I took a microbiology class, and that's really when I fell in love with the whole subject of it. So I switched over to that major and faced some health obstacles there, where unfortunately some of my grades did suffer. And then finally, I graduated from Cal Poly, and 3 days after, I was hired onto a startup company that really took over the nation for COVID testings. We would receive about 120,000 samples a night, to test for patients all over the world to see if they're positive or negative for COVID. And then that really motivated me even more, seeing how this pandemic affected other people and just the healthcare system and how badly we needed help in the hospitals. And so that's when I decided that I wanted to still go into the medical field route. And so I stumbled upon Keck Graduate Institution, where I met my two amazing program directors, Alba Munoz and Dr. June Kim. And they have given me the support that I need and the help that I also need to go into, the medical school cycles, and helping me just boost that GPA and my confidence up and letting me know like I can really do it.
Support systems are really important. You talk a little bit about growing up in a lower income family, and I think you said that you were the first generation to go to college.
It's probably one of my proudest things I can say, first generation high school graduate and college graduate. I just knew I wanted to go into the healthcare field. I just didn't know how, or, how I was going to get there. I knew I wanted to, but, that passion and the support really driven me. And here I am today, still striving to become that doctor that I've always wanted to become.
I know that your parents must be so proud of you. We're proud of you. I want to talk a little bit about Global Medical Brigades and how you got involved in that and how you brought it over to your school. Can you talk about what Global Medical Brigades is for anybody listening who might not know, and the work that they do and what you're involved in over there and how you're getting this work done globally?
So Global Medical Brigades is a student-led nonprofit organizations that partner with partnered communities in rural areas, and they work alongside local staff and doctors to provide access to healthcare to patients who have really no access or never seen a doctor before. I wanted to get involved because, you hear stories from your parents saying where they came from and how it is back in their hometowns and their countries. And so it kind of almost makes you a little upset that people are actually going through this. And so I wanted to be that change. And so when I stumbled upon Global Medical Brigades in 2018 at Cal Poly Pomona, we traveled to Nicaragua and we were able to see 860 patients in 3 days. Some of them traveled 2 hours just to see us. And so that was just amazing to see how many people really wanted that access. And it was just incredible to see. And then we also were able to build sanitation stations. So we built them showers and bathrooms for their homes. I remember hiking up like about an hour. We got to see like their local community bathroom, and we wanted to make that change and we wanted to make that impact to make it, sanitary for them as well. And so um, this really was a driving force for me to bring it back to Keck Graduate Institution this coming year. And so that is why I actually brought it. It's something I value and just really aligns with my own values.
The work you're doing there has not gone unseen. It's a really important work. I know that we've talked before a little bit about the needs there. When you think about how we live here in the United States and the things that we have access to, clean water is not something most people have to think or worry about. At the end of the day, if they're taking it from the tap, it's still going to be drinkable most of the time. What has it been like for you to just kind of see that juxtaposition between being somewhere like in the US where people are just kind of taking clean water for granted and we have access to it anytime. We don't really have health problems because of water, dysentery or anything like that. Can you talk a little bit about just how different that is over there in Nicaragua and what you've seen and how people can help?
You know, we live our daily lives brushing our teeth, drinking water, washing our face, and we don't really think anything of it like, oh, like I'm gonna get sick from this. And so you hear stories, from people or the news, or, like for my personal experiences for my family and for my parents, and you don't really think of anything. It's just another story. And until you actually live it, until you travel there and you see it firsthand, I remember our program associates in Nicaragua told us don't drink from the sink when you're showering, close your mouth, close your eyes, close, whatever you can, so that way you don't get sick. And it's really eye-opening just how, granted, I take it, I go to my fridge and I just get my glass of water and I'll be on my way. I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm not thinking if I'm going to get sick. It's really important to educate out there our patients, to boil their waters, to wash their hands. We do give this education out there when we are there, because we are a little different. We do it more of a holistic approach. We're not just the medical brigade, but we're also business brigades, economic brigades, public health, water brigade, dental brigade. We're just everything. So that way we can create that sustainability there. So yeah, it's just really just eye-opening, and just, how people can help is just by like helping us. We accept like donations wise, to get involved just by, donating some toothbrushes to us, toothpaste, um, soaps, things like that, or just even a dollar. People might think, oh, a dollar's not enough, but really it is. Like it's very impactful for our missions. And so we'll be just happy with any help we can get.
Yeah, I think that's something you know, people feel like, oh, I'm only one person. Like, is my, 10 soaps enough? Is my bottles of shampoo enough? Is that enough to really donate to this cause? And just want to reiterate that it all adds up. If everybody just donates a little bit, then all of a sudden we have a lot, and then that a lot can do a massive impact globally for people who need it. So yes, I agree. I think if anybody wants to help or donate, that would be amazing. I know that Paula is going to give you the website so that you can go check it out, even if you wanted to get involved in a mission yourself. Hey, Paula, what's that website people can go to?
Yeah, so our website is globalmedicalbrigades.com/KGI. It will take us to our link where you can donate there, or you can email us for any supplies you want to donate. If it's 10 masks or 10 hand sanitizers, anything will be greatly appreciated. Our Instagram handle is gmb.kgi, and our email is gmb@kgi.edu.
Awesome. I would love to talk a little bit about the mission trips that you've been on. And I know before we talked a little bit about how often these mission trips go, how often you go back, how you don't just show up one time and then leave and then never come back again. Can you talk a little bit about what the follow-up is like and what the journey is from start to finish?
Yeah, so when I started back in 2018, we went to Nicaragua. And so it is a week-long mission trip with 3 clinical days or 4 clinical days, and then two maybe like either nutrition and health, like health origin education, or it would be like a water brigades or sanitation station brigades. So we get there and we're packing all of our donations, such as toothbrushes and toothpaste, like our hygiene package that we give to every one of our patients out there. When we do arrive, we see patients, traveling up to 2 hours just to come see us, lined out the door. And then we get started taking, their vitals and their blood pressure, creating that history for them. And so we do put it into our laptops. There is a data entry for them. Then they go into consultations, whatever problems they are here like seeking, and then they go into pharmacy. But before they get their medications, they are going to a station called Charla, where they do receive education on, basic hygiene education, and then they receive their medications. We do create that history that way when they are seeing a doctor. there is a long history of like how many times they've come to us. It's not just a one thing and we're out. It's, we want to create that sustainability. So we come back every 3 to 4 months, or if not shorter. We were able to see that sustainability being created during the pandemic when no one was there. We were able to create like telebrigades and just help out in that way. Our goal and our missions is wanting to have them be able to be empowered and sustainable on their own. That way, when we're no longer there, they're okay.
Yeah, that's some really incredible work you guys are doing. I'm impressed you built a shower. I mean, how did you manage that?
It was difficult, I've never done anything like that. Hiking up for an hour. I barely hike. I mean, I am a gym person, but cardio is not my forte. And so I just remember getting there and I'm like, okay, this hike, up the mountain, I'm good now. And then we get started on creating cement for these bathrooms, and I'm trying to dig a hole, trying to get all the pipeline worked out. It was very difficult, very intense. It was hot out there. It was just crazy weather. So it was very intense, but very rewarding. Now I can see I can actually build something, with help, of course. But yeah, it was just like something so great to see a family being able to have their own shower in their own bathroom instead of sharing it with the whole community. That's another thing we take for granted here is just we can go to our bathroom and just shower on our own, and not share with our neighbors. So it is very eye-opening seeing that. And so when they were able to receive it, we celebrated with them. They were so kind enough to open their homes and their hearts to us, dancing, playing music with us. It was just something so great to see their culture and just to learn about them as well.
Wow, beautiful. I wish I had been there. It sounds like a really amazing, incredible experience. Um, I know it's funny how we think we can't do anything, something, and then we do it and we're like, wow, I actually helped build that shower. Like I did that. We did that together. It's kind of be a very accomplished feeling, and prideful, and also just being able to quickly see the difference that you're making in other people's lives by something so simple. Is really, really beautiful. Have you been on any other trips since Nicaragua, or is Nicaragua the last one you did?
Unfortunately, Nicaragua was the last one I did. I did sign up for a 2019 brigade to Honduras. Unfortunately, I had some health issues come up, and then when I wanted to go back in 2020, the pandemic hit, and then I had graduated already, so I was no longer involved with the school. But when I found Keck Graduate Institution, the first thing I asked on my interviews were if Global Medical Brigades was there, and they said no because of the pandemic. It stopped, and so they said to me if I were to be accepted, I can get it started. And sure enough, that was one of the first things I asked my directors if I can start it back up. And so I've received so much support from them. And then the executive team also, Alexis Wilson, who is just a go-getter. She's always handling everything, emails, setting up meetings. She's amazing. And our secretary, David Payne, seeing other people who have the same visions and values as you just feel like one person and you're like, well, can I really change the world? Just me? But when you start something, it's a domino effect. More and more people want to join you. More people see the passion that you have for it. And that's just what makes it, a change when people see you start it. It just takes one person.
So it wasn't at your school that you're currently at, and you brought it there.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And that just shows that, if you want to get involved in something, and they don't have it at your school, or they don't offer it, you can still make it happen on your own, just like Paula did. That's really, really inspiring to see that you're still being able to pursue that, even though that option wasn't there. And now you're opening up a whole nother community of people that might say, oh, what's Global Medical Brigades? I didn't know about that. Oh, I want to get involved. And now you're just kind of creating this momentum of other people becoming aware of all the incredible work you guys are doing and wanting to get involved. So well done, Paula. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and so now we're just prepping for our next brigade in July 30th. That's when we leave to Honduras again. We'll be there for a full week, and we know we have 3 clinical days as well as 1 day of education. For oral hygiene, I believe. And so we're just really excited, to come back and do it. It's been a while since I've done it just because of, life getting in the way and the pandemic. But I'm so excited and I can't wait to continue doing this.
By 2023, we're excited to watch your journey, and we're excited to check it out and see all the great work that you guys are doing over there and all the amazing people you're helping. Would you say when you're going over to these places, what would you say the biggest health concern is over there that you're seeing?
I think the biggest healthcare concern that I see out there is really the access to it. The access and just the education of, boiling water as well. We got there and I remember making this connection with this little girl named Juliet. She was very scared. She's never seen a doctor before. She's never gotten that healthcare access. And so she didn't know what a stethoscope was. She didn't want to near her at all. And so I remember I asked her if she wanted to put it on to hear my heartbeat. And so that really built that connection between us and that trust. She was vulnerable. She didn't know who we were. These strangers are just coming in. I don't, and so her opening up her hometown and her heart to us was just very impactful. And so I just think the basic necessities of just gaining that healthcare access, as well as not knowing how to wash your hands or not knowing how to boil proper water to drink, you really get to see that firsthand experience when you are out there.
Keep up the great work. We're really excited to see this next trip in July. If people want to get involved or donate, I'm sure that they'll still be able to do that for this mission. But Paula had given you guys the website before. We're going to link it down below for everybody. You can click on it and check it out. I'm sure they're still open for donations, and the need is high for anything that you can spare. And if you want to donate money, that would be great as well. So let's keep up the good work. Let's keep bringing healthcare to everyone. We all believe that healthcare is a human right. Global access is important, that the whole world should be able to just be healthy and normal and have access to clean, drinkable water and be able to bathe themselves and not get sick from not having that access. As well as just basic healthcare needs. So thank you, Paula, and everybody at Global Medical Brigades for all the awesome work you guys are doing to bring that health and wellness globally to everyone and to create that change so that people can have healthier, better lives.
Yeah, thank you. I could not have done any of this without MDF's Crafting Wellness. Your guys' support is just amazing. I remember receiving that package of our donated stethoscopes that we are leaving out there to the local doctors and staff to be able to provide that access. And, to give great access, you have to have great equipment as well. So I just thank you guys, that amazing values that you guys have that really align with me. It's just an incredible opportunity to be able to partner with such an amazing company.
It's truly our pleasure. You are exactly what we believe in, and we're so happy that we can just be a part of your journey and help you bring that health care globally to everyone. And for people listening and watching, if you have medical missions that you're involved in, please always reach out to us. We are more than happy to donate, and we love leaving the medical equipment out in these more rural places so that the healthcare workers there have access to the medical equipment that they need to be able to assess their patients and bring that health. So thank you again for that. I would love to switch gears a little bit. I do want to ask you, if you could go back and tell your younger self a piece of advice or something you wish you had known, what would that, do you have a little nugget of knowledge?
Yeah, I was always very scared to do things. So I would just tell myself, do it, go for it, even though you're scared, being first generation, being scared to apply for college, being scared to take that opportunity, to do research or take that opportunity to volunteer at a hospital or take that opportunity to bring Global Medical Brigades. I wish I could tell myself that it's okay to be scared, but to keep doing it. Even though you're scared, just do it. Because at the end of the day, you can either learn from it, you can fail and you can learn, or it's a win. You know, at the end of the day, it's always going to be a great accomplishment. And so I would just tell myself, like, it's okay to be scared, enjoy that roller coaster ride, as well as sometimes I do still today face imposter syndrome. And, you know, I just wonder, do I really belong here? I remember my first day driving to Cat Graduate. I was just feeling, down, like, do I really belong here? Is, is this something that I deserve, or should I be here? Did I get accepted by mistake? Did they really read my transcripts correctly? Um, am I someone they really do want? And so, having people around you to reassure you it's okay, like you do belong here. This is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're meant to do is just, you know, so valuable to me to know that I'm supposed to be here, but it's okay to be scared. Like, but just do it.
That's wonderful advice. And I couldn't agree with you more. You know, I'm always trying to do things that scare me because I think that's how we grow. If we just stay stagnant and we don't do the thing that scares us is the thing we should be doing. Everyone knows it internally. You know it deep down inside, like, I really don't want to do this thing because I'm afraid of it. But that's more reason to do it. And you know it. And that's why you're afraid of it because it's the unknown. But that's what's going to stretch you. That's what's going to grow you. That's what's going to give you new experiences, make you more well-rounded, and also just the thing that you need to do to like grow past where you are. It's never going to be pleasurable, but there's a lot to say for facing the fear. You always come out the other side being, oh, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as I put it in my mind. It wasn't so bad. Just going back on like imposter syndrome, I think that's a really common thing. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. I feel that all the time too. I think like, oh, am I really good enough? Did someone make a mistake? Should I be here? And I think those are really normal feelings. But I think the important thing to remember is when you're not believing in yourself and you're questioning yourself, because we're always hardest on ourselves, is that we have to remember to look at ourselves the way other people who love us look at us. And they believe in us and they know we can do it and they know we're smart enough and capable enough and talented enough and all of those things. So, surround yourself with people who are supportive and lift you up and believe in you and can remind you on those days when you're not so sure. You can see in the reflection of their eyes that they're sure of you. And that always helps.
Yeah, definitely, having that support system as well. When I brought in Global Medical Brigades at Cat Graduate, I was just wondering, is this going to fail? Is this going to actually be something that I want it to be? And so I remember sitting at a table, not knowing my peers, and I just brought it up to them, and everyone seemed very excited. I got the exec board that same day. It was not even the first week of school just yet. I think it was just orientation at that point. And people really loved the vision and the mission that we stand for. And so they're very excited. So now we do have a team, and our amazing faculty advisor, Alba Munoz, who's been helping me along this journey as well, to let me know, like, it's okay. She's actually the one who gave me the advice. Just do it, even if you're scared. I've had so much support from her, and she's always believed in me, and just because of her I really like it's driven me so far, just having that support around me.
Important to people around you that support you, whether it's family, loved ones, friends, mentors, coworkers, colleagues. It's good to always surround yourself with people who can see what you can see, and when you can't see it in yourself, can remind you that it's there. But we're really proud of you. And I would love to get to know you a little bit as far as I know that takes up a lot of your time. Right now, you're really busy. But what other passions and hobbies do you have outside of healthcare and medicine that you do for fun or any passions that you have?
Yeah, so it's all about balancing your life, as amazing medicine is and how big and important it is to my life. I also want to have something separate from that as well, but sort of kind of mix into it, being healthy is all part of it too. And so I love going to the gym, going, I don't know, 3 to 4 times a week, lifting those weights up, and as well as just traveling, going on adventures. I love to skydive. Um, I've gone twice already in Hawaii. And so it was just such an amazing opportunity. It kind of gives you a different view of life as well. And just being around friends and family and trying new restaurants with them or new food, seeing different type of culture food, I love to do. Even though I don't have too much time, I do tend to love doing these things with them.
Yes, spoken like a true fear person who's like, hey, face your fears. Haynes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone asks me, "Are you crazy? Like, it's a perfectly great plane. Like, you're really gonna jump twice?" I'm like, "Yeah, and I will keep doing it too."
That's so fun. I love that. It's really unique. Now that we touched base on like what your journey is like, all about Global Medical Brigades and also just you personally, I'm curious. We didn't really touch on this, but are you studying right now for the MCAT? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, so I'm currently studying for my MCAT right now. I think that is one of my obstacles now is just facing that monster, test. I've never faced such a long, difficult test before, but I know I can do it. Got to face it scared. I'm excited, nervous, have a ton of emotions going on. I just know like it's just the next path, the next accomplishment when I take it. CAC Graduate really does a great job in helping you prep for those, by mentorship, by, you know, helping you link with your peers to study together, as well as the classes that you are taking there. Um, they really do prep you for that next step of medicine, of advanced medicine, I feel like, because, we come into that school and we're taking clinical pharmacology classes to advance pharmaceutical discoveries. And so it's just it opens a whole different world of medicine as well.
What is that timeline? Do you have an idea of when you will be taking that test, or is it still just a little too far out for you to have that schedule?
Yeah, I actually just registered for it yesterday. So I take it September. So it'll be after the brigades, taking summer to focus on the brigades as well as the MCAT. And then while I'm there, do the brigades. And when I come back, still studying for the MCAT. And then hopefully by September, I will take it.
And then when do you apply for med school? Would that be the next step after the NCAT? Is that right?
Yeah, so I will be entering not this cycle, but the next cycle. I just wanted to really focus on the MCAT as well as Global Medical Brigades. And then once, you know, those brigades are done and the MCAT is done, just focus more on my application.
Do you see yourself after you become a doctor? Um, I know it's a long journey down the road, but do you see yourself coming back to Global Medical Brigades and doing more work there? And kind of what do you foresee for yourself?
Hopefully becoming that doctor I've always wanted to be. Global Medical Brigades is a very, different organization. And so it does hold a special place in my heart. It's something that I will always be tied to and always will love to do. I still have connections with doctors, local doctors from Nicaragua till this day. And so I really do believe it's something I will always come back to, always do when I can, and make it just a yearly, if it could be a yearly or, every 5, 6 months thing, then I would love to keep doing it. Or if I can't go on those medical missions trip, at least donate anything I can to help out the next chapter doing it.
I think it would be fair to say that you highly recommend it for other people in healthcare, students, anybody who can to get involved in medical missions. It sounds like it's life changing.
You definitely get to see their culture and just how healthcare system is out there. We hear about it, but we don't really experience it until we're actually there. And you get to see how the people are there. They are very kind and just warm-hearted, and they open the doors up for you. And they are very vulnerable, yet they welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, I think that's not something you can learn in a textbook or in a classroom. I think the experience and knowledge that you're gaining from meeting people in other parts of the world who live very differently than us, who have different needs than maybe we would need here in the US, I have to imagine is very eye-opening and also a great learning moment in how to bring that health and that help to these people who so desperately need it.
Yeah, it's just, medicine is also giving that care, but it's also building those connections and building that trust with them. You know, I remember when I was a patient at Children's Hospital, I really did connect with my doctors. I was very vulnerable going through multiple surgeries. I didn't want anyone to touch me anymore. I was over it. But just seeing them and seeing how well they treated me and how kind they were and just how soft they were to me, I knew that I wanted to do that and I wanted to make someone feel the same way that I felt once. And so when you do go out to these mission trips, like I said, Judea didn't know what it was or who we were. She was very afraid of us until finally I built that trust with her and just let her know, like, it's okay. Like, we're just here to help her or just here to help her local community. And she really did build that connection with me and was actually following me everywhere in every room she wanted to be with me.
That's my favorite story ever. I love that story. I'm so glad you told it. It's a really moving story.
No, thank you. Yeah, I had lost touch with her, unfortunately, but I hope she's doing well, and I hope maybe she wants to become a doctor one day.
I have no doubt that she might just want to. It sounds like you made quite an impression on her, and she is on you as well.
Yeah, the first thing like she really did show me was all her school notes and all the drawings she had made. And after I opened up to her and let her hear my heartbeat, she was out there just playing with everyone, just, talking to everyone. She felt very comfortable in our presence. So it was very heartwarming and rewarding to see that as well.
Yeah, and you also speak Spanish, right? So
Yeah, so English is my second language, Spanish is my first. And so it was just very easy to communicate with her. And so I think that really did play an important role.
yeah, and I think that's also something that's going to make you a great doctor is the fact that you have two, you're bilingual and just the fact that you can communicate and translate, what people's needs are. That's a really great asset to have. So thank your parents for that.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yep. Well, Paula, thank you so much for joining our Crafting Wellness podcast. It's been such a pleasure having you on. I've really enjoyed this. And for everybody listening and watching, please, I'm going to ask Paula to go ahead and drop that Instagram handle one more time for you and have her spell it out for everyone listening so that you can go find Global Medical Brigades if you want to donate and help out. That would be a great place to start.
Our Instagram handle is gmb.kgi and our email is gmb@kgi.edu. And once again, thanks again so much for having me. Thank you for having Crafting Wellness Projects. Really, I could not do this without you guys. I really love what you guys stand for, and I can't wait to partner up with you guys for other medical mission trips.